What's up, everybody? I just want to tell everybody Happy New Year, and I hope everybody had a Happy New Year's. And let's get straight into it. Do y'all feel like Vlad is a culture vulture and should be canceled? Because I feel like dudes like Vlad and Adam 22, they exploit this hip hop culture to the worst extent possible. Especially Vlad. Like, this dude, Vlad, man, whenever he interviews people, he only asks them negative questions, and he only want to know about the negative stuff for clicks and views. Like he'll ask a person like, "Tell me about the time you sold drugs. Tell me about your ops. Tell me about what gang you in. Tell me about the time you got shot at or you shot somebody. Tell me about this. Tell me about that." He never focuses on the music. This is a hip hop platform, right? So why doesn't he focus on the person's music or positive aspect in their life? Like, yo, tell me what was your thought process when you was making this song or when you was making this album. Tell me what was on your mind. How did you feel when you did that? When you said this? Tell me about what music you got coming. He mainly asked them. Even when you look at the titles, it's like some exploitation titles. It'll be like such and such got shot 35 times. Such and such robbed a bank while he was making this, while he was doing that. It's like, dude, like you don't gotta do all of that just for views, clicks, and views. Even when you look at his channel now, like before he used to interview porn stars, and now he's interviewing guys from the mafia. They talking about, oh, I shot this person, I did this, I slept with his wife. It's like, is this even a hip hop platform anymore? Because all he's talking about is negativity. And another thing too that I don't like about Vlad, the only time he posts a new artist on his website is when they have been killed. Like so many times, we never see him post nobody's music. He doesn't post no articles about new artists, anything positive. He'll post about an artist being shot at or being killed, and that's when you find out about them from Vlad TV. Vlad does not, mention nothing positive, and his ego's crazy, man. Like he feel like he could disrespect Minister Farrakhan and not apologize, and you see how he kind of low key is disrespectful because he won't apologize for that. He says he's an atheist, but he was raised like as a Jewish growing up. But if you're an atheist, you wouldn't even care what Farrakhan says about Jewish people. But because of that, a lot of his popular guests like Lord Jamar, Godfrey, and a few others left his platform and doing their own thing. So now he feel like, all right, I'll just replace them. I could replace anybody. That's kind of his attitude. He got Boozy, and the guy from 3 6 Mafia, Crunchy Black, and he just interviews a bunch of ignorant people that don't know any better. That's why they on his platform. And Boosie, he better hope he never leave his platform because he's the last person left that brings it good numbers. But yeah, I feel like Vlad's a culture vulture, man. And then just recently, he don't even he talks about he has integrity. Like in a lot of his interviews, he talks about, oh, I have integrity. I don't pay for interviews. No, people try to pay me to give them to do interviews with them. I don't take money. I don't do this. But yet he pays people for interviews. He won't admit that. He pays people for interviews. And, you know, just because you don't accept money, integrity goes both ways. Just because you don't accept money for interviews, but you pay people for interviews, that's not integrity. Like, bro, you don't have no integrity. You don't know what it means in the truest sense. You don't know what it means. And then he'll run stories that's not even, he don't even do fact checks on some of his stories. Perfect example. When he interviewed some guy named Carl Dawson, who was supposedly, in line with Murder Inc. and the Supreme Team, and he was called 50. Dude said he was in the car when 50 got shot. 50 told, made a post on Instagram telling Vlad, take it down. Vlad had to take down the whole. Vlad took down the whole interview of this guy. So it just goes to show you, Vlad, he's okay with running stories that's not true, cause he didn't even do no background check. If you run an interview, that's yellow journalism. If you run a story and you don't do a background check on it, you basically doing yellow journalism, and that's no integrity. So just because you don't take money doesn't mean you have integrity. If you're running a false story and you know it's false, that means you don't have no integrity. You don't care. You just care about clicks and views. And that's what Vlad is all about. That's why I say he's a culture vulture, man. And he's kind of a poison for hip hop. And another funny thing too that I think is funny about him, he says he's this Tupac fan, this big Tupac fan, right? But yet he'll interview, people that don't need a platform. We don't care what these people have to say. These people was negative in Tupac's life, like Ayanna Jackson, Keefe D. Nobody asked for those interviews. Nobody need to know nothing about them. Nobody cared to know anything about them. And you as a Tupac fan would have never wasted your time interviewing them. And not only that, every time he talks about he exploits Tupac to the very end, as far as like the night he died. Every guest he has on his show, he asked them that question like, oh, about the Lost Night, the Las Vegas night situation. He asked every guest their opinion on that. Like, why you only talk about the negative things in Tupac's life like that? You never focus on nothing else. You focus mainly on the Las Vegas situation, and you interviewing a bunch of nobodies. He interviewed some guy that was supposedly there that night, the first correspondent that was there that night. I don't believe that guy was actually there, but it's whatever, man. Like certain situations, if you're a fan of somebody, you wouldn't dwell on the negative aspect or their death like that. You understand? You focus on their lives and the positive things they did with their life. But like Vlad, like I said, he exploits everything to the very end, and he won't stop. I even see when he interviewed BG Knockout, he put in the title because he be changing his titles to even he words his titles even as clickbait. He put Orlando Anderson's best friend, BG Knockout. Like, come on, Vlad. Like, come on, man. You promote negative on your platform all day long, like, and it's sad, man. Like, so I think people should need to support people like Say Cheese TV. You understand that they don't just he doesn't exploit the negative things in hip hop. He asks positive questions. He tries to get to know his guests on all aspects about their life, their music, things they got going on. He doesn't ask them like, "Oh, tell me about when you sold drugs. Tell me about growing up here and when you first had to sell crack and then you joined this gang and you shot 12 people. Tell me about that." He don't do that. He don't do that. It's only these guys like Vlad and Adam 22. They sit here, they'll interview dots and give them a platform. They don't need a platform to let them build their own platform to speak. They sit here and they make up these stories and these guys run with it. It's just sad, man, but that's just how I feel about it, man. I want to know, what do y'all think? Should Vlad really be canceled? Is Vlad a culture vulture? Because I say yes. But y'all let me know how y'all feel, man. I'm out.